Hi, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Read with Chide. This is day 18, and we are slowly but surely getting to the mark where we are going, which is to read the Bible end to end. So eventually we'll get there. Today we are reading Genesis 43, 44, and 45. Like I said the last time, we are almost coming to the end of Genesis, but it's been very interesting so far. Reading the story of Abraham again, reading the story of Isaac, reading the story of Jacob, and seeing these people again and seeing how their stories tie to the story of Jesus. Because as we know, the Bible tells the story of Jesus all through, from Old Testament to New Testament. It is all about Jesus. Old Testament talking about Jesus and what he will do. New Testament showing us Jesus and what he has done. And getting right into it, we're starting with Genesis chapter 43, verse 1. And the famine was sore in the land. So last time we read about how Joseph interpreted. Apologies for my voice. It's been an intense couple of days. Yesterday was Deeper Lagos and it was glorious, but my voice went with it. So what will not go away is the experience and the things that I have gained from that program. So, yes, Joseph had interpreted Pharaoh's dream and advised him, set a man in charge of this, a wise man that can handle things, and let him save for the 7 years of plenty. So when the 7 years of famine come around, we will have food available for the people. And Pharaoh said, who else will I put in charge apart from you? You who has given this who has interpreted the dream and given this great advice, you are the one I'll put in charge. So that's the backstory from the last chapter. Hi, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. Genesis chapter 43, verse 1. And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass when they had eaten of the corn which they had brought out of Egypt. This is Joseph's brothers now, right? Remember in the last chapter they came to Egypt to buy, and Joseph saw them and recognized them, and they didn't recognize Joseph. And Joseph told them, you know what? Go home, bring your last brother who you did not bring. Then he kept one of their brothers and said, go home, bring your last brother who you did not bring. Then I will believe you that you're not spies, and I will give you your other brother. And their father was not open to letting the boy go because Joseph, people said he died, that an animal ate him up. Now you went to buy food for us to eat. You have left one of your brothers there. You are saying the man asked you to bring your last brother, the Joseph's brother, the second child of my beloved wife. And you want me to read it? No way. Now, verse 2, I'll read it again. It says, and it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, go again and buy us a little food. And Judah spoke unto him, saying, the man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, you shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had a brother yet? Like, why did you even have to tell him you have a brother that is still at home? Why? And they said, the man asked us straightly of our state and of our kindred, saying, is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know what he would say? Could we certainly know that he would say, bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shall thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we would have returned this second time. And their father Israel said unto them, if it must be so, now do this, take of the best fruits in the land in your vessel, and carry down the man a present a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds, and take double money in your hand. And the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure, it was an oversight. Remember, they found that their money that they had paid initially was put back in their sacks. Take also your brother and arise, go again unto the man, and God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, bring these men home, and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bid, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen, and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight. We brought it again in our hand, that we brought down in our hand to buy food. We cannot tell who put our sacks. And he said, peace be unto you. Fear not, your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out with them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present again. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon. For they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, is he yet alive? And they answered, thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed their head down, and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, is this your younger brother of whom you spake unto me? And they said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And he said, rather, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph did haste, for his bowels did yearn unto his brother, and he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber, and wept there. And he washed his face, and went out, and refrained himself, and said, set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with them by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes to them from before him. And Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. And he commanded the steward of his house, excuse me, he commanded his steward, where was I? And he command now we are Genesis chapter 44. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sack with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up. Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, wherefore have you rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh? and whereby indeed he divineth, ye have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this. Behold, the money which we found in our sack mouth, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then shall we steal out of the Lord's house silver, out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, now also let it be according unto your words. I wonder why they always did this thing, like being so sure that this thing is not with us. In fact, if you find it with anybody, you can kill the person. That's what Jacob did when, he was leaving his father-in-law's place, and his wife Leah, no, Rachel, took her father's gods. And he was like, it's not possible, it's not with me. If anybody you find it with, you can kill the person. Why not just say, I am sure it's not with me, but check anyway? Must you say, whoever you find it with, kill the person? Why? Anyway, and he said, now also let it be according unto your word. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched, and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes, and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak, or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, you are my Lord, behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Then Judah came near him and said, Oh, my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant. For thou art even as Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servant, saying, Have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one. And his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou said unto thy servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set my eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father will die. And thou said unto thy servants, Except your younger brother come down unto me, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, Go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother be not with us. If our youngest brother be with us, then will we go down. For we may not see the man's face except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, Ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the one went out from me. And I said, Surely he is torn in pieces. And I saw him not since. And if he take this one also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hair in sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. The number of times this guy has said thy servant, your servant, my servant. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me? Lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come to my father. Genesis chapter 45. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him. And he cried, because every man to go out from me, and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore ye be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in the which there shall be neither hearing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you who sent me hither, but it was God. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herd, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee. For yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, this do ye, Lade your beasts and go, get you unto the land of Canaan, and take your father and your household, and come unto me, and I will give you good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded, this do ye. Take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provisions for their way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner 10 asses laden with good things of Egypt, and 10 she-asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, See that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, It is enough, Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go see him before I die. May God bless the reading of his word. That brings us to the end of our Bible reading for today. I think the story of Joseph is so beautiful and so instructive about how God prepares a way for his beloved. You know, how Jacob must have been in sorrow for many years, thinking that his son had died. But what God did was to send him ahead to preserve Israel, the lineage through whom the Savior will come. And for Joseph himself, he was sold into slavery, and he must have been feeling like, did I not dream? Did I not see in my dream that my father and my brethren will bow before me? Did I not see in my dream that I will be a ruler? What is this? Me sold into slavery? How? How so? And then he got there, and Potiphar bought him as a slave, but he was diligent in Potiphar's house. And when he Potiphar made him head over everything he had, in like yesterday's reading, or rather the last day's reading, we read how Potiphar handed over everything to Joseph, and the only thing Potiphar bothered his head about was the bread which he ate. He didn't know what he had. He didn't have the inventory of the things he had, because he trusted Joseph. Joseph had shown himself diligent. I'm sure at that point Joseph must have felt, oh, I see the dream now. The dream is coming to pass. And then, bam, out of nowhere, Potiphar's wife conspired, and Joseph landed in prison. And Joseph must have been wondering, what is this now? God, I thought you had restored me. Why am I now in prison? But even in prison, he was diligent. The Bible said he became the person in charge of the prison. The prison guard handed over everything to Joseph, and anything that happened in that prison was done by Joseph. Joseph was the one calling the shots in prison. And then he interpreted the baker and the butler's dream. In his mind, he was just doing his bit. It was his gift. He was interpreting their dream, you know. And then, just like that, 2 years after the butler left prison, Pharaoh had a dream. And who else could they call to interpret the dream but Joseph? And Joseph came before Pharaoh, interpreted that dream, and just like that, he became truly the person in charge of Egypt, preparing the way ahead for his brethren, so that the lineage through whom Jesus will come will be preserved. And it's just beautiful. It goes to show how God is orchestrating your life, orchestrating my life, so that no matter what it looks like today, you can be confident that God has a plan. His plan will yet be fulfilled, and I will see it. I will see God's plan for my life. Very, very instructive. Please share with me what you've learned from today's reading, what it struck in your heart, what came to mind, what you thought while we read, and what lessons you're taking from today's reading. Please do well to join us again tomorrow for day 19. Um, and do well to also share this video with your friends, share it on your WhatsApp status, share it on your Instagram story, share it on your Facebook if you still use Facebook, share it on TikTok if you use TikTok. Everywhere you can share it, so that your friends and loved ones will read along with us. Also, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. If you've not clicked the notification button, please do so that you'll be notified every single time we are live. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Jethro, for joining. If you join and you do not comment, wait till you gain. Please, when you join, drop a comment so that I can know that you're here, and we can all read the Bible together and share our thoughts together. Have a lovely, lovely evening. If you are watching this as a replay, please do well to drop your comments as well and share this video. Have a lovely night. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.